Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to welcome every one of you that have subscribed to this page. I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. Okay, so as you all know, I'm into fish farming and I'm into broiler farming. So today I want to talk about the experience we had with one of our badges in the poultry section. Okay, so what happened was that these birds were dying, and two, they were not growing. That was the experience we had. And I want to advise before I go down to what happened. If you have birds that are not growing, if you have birds that are dying and you've done what you know that you're supposed to do to help these birds and they're still not picking up, I advise you sell up immediately. Yes, set them up immediately, set them off. That is the best thing to do to avoid greater losses. Sell off. Okay, so what happened is this: we stock in badges, and so when we're about selling the previous badge, I had a call. It was actually, it wasn't time for me to stock, so but I had a call that the birds, the prices were reduced if I will restock. So I thought of it. I just have 1 week to my restocking calendar to when I'm supposed to restock. So I said, okay, let me go ahead with it. So I bought the birds. As I always advise in my videos, if you buy your birds, it's very, very advisable that you check them before you take them to your farm. What I mean is when you go to pick them, make sure you open each cartons to check for mortality. It's very, very important. So when the birds came and I went to pick them up, I was doing this check that I just talked about, and I noticed some cartons were having like 5 that were dead, 4, 6 were dead, just like that in each carton. I was worried and I was telling the man about my concern. Why were they dying like this? What happened? And they just like they had issues on the way, and that was what happened. So I just overlooked. But though I've had experience, because if I had the experience I have now, I wouldn't have collected those birds. And I noticed something. The ones that died, they were looking like they've died for 3-4 days inside the carton. They were like you're almost seeing the bones, like they've died for long. So that's another thing I noticed. And so I took the birds and they promised they replaced the numbers of the ones that died. They gave me new ones. So I took the birds, we stocked them. And after, I don't go to my farm every time because my farm is quite far from my house. So sometimes I visit 2 times a week, sometimes 3 times a week. So when I went back to see what is happening in the farm, to check how they are doing, the birds were looking like I just stocked them that day. After 1 week, they were not growing. Many of them were not growing. So because of the space management as of that time, I decided to do 1,000. I did 1,700. So because of my space, well, about selling the previous the other set, so I wanted them to enjoy space. So I didn't do up to the 2,200 I used to do before. Okay, so I noticed they were not growing. So I was like telling my boys what happened. And based on the record they were giving me, I noticed we're not eating well. So one thing that you need to observe in your birds, even in fish, one thing that happens, one thing that what happens, okay, even in fish and in broilers, when you want to, for you to know that they are not doing well, they are sick, is their feeding. Their feeding rate reduces drastically. So normally these birds are supposed to be eating like 4 bags in a day, 4 bags in a day for the pre-starter, 3 bags or 5 bags in a day. I was having like 1 bag, 1.5 bag in a day. So I asked, what happened? Why are they not eating well? They said they don't know they're not eating well. So we're just observing the birds. When I checked them, some of them, their feet were so tiny, like it's a day old, and they're just 1 week. Their feet were tiny, their wings were looking like I don't know how to even put it. The wings were just hanging, they're looking so dried, as if they're not eating, as if they're not drinking water, as if they were malnourished. So that was when I knew these birds would be stunts. They're going to have stunt growth. So, but this is not happen for all of them. So at that point in time, we're just managing them. We bought antibiotics, we bought all manner of multivitamins, and all manner. We're just giving them everything to make sure they pick up and they eat well. So after like 3 weeks, these birds were still looking like they were 2 weeks old. So what we did was to separate the smaller ones from the ones that the shoot out. Let me put it, the shoot out. Those ones, if you see them, these ones have the tendency to grow, and they were converting their feed very well to meat, so they were growing well. So what we did was to separate those ones that are looking promising, and we left the smaller ones in a different side. And as if that is not bad enough, those smaller ones that refuse to grow, that have all these tiny feet and they were looking very, very malnourished, those ones were dropping. They were dying. And it did. Sometimes we pick 5, sometimes we pick 6, they were just dying like that. So I noticed, and I said, these birds are not going to, I'm not seeing any future in them. For them, I'm not seeing anything. They're not looking promising at all. So what I did, like what I said in the beginning of this video, was to sell them off immediately. There was no point for me to feed them. There was no point for me to be spending money on antibiotics and all manner, and they were not growing. They were eating. After some time, they started eating, but we're not seeing the growth at all in them. So what I did immediately was to sell them off. So we just started, searching for customers, searching for people who can buy that size of birds. The birds were going to 5 weeks, but they were looking like 3 weeks old birds. That's what they were looking like. Very, in short, it was a bad experience. They were looking like 3 weeks old birds. So the luck I had is that we're able to pick like 700 pieces. I think 700 to 800 pieces that were still very okay. We sold those ones at 6 weeks. And at that 6 weeks, those ones were eating well. At that 6 weeks, those ones were, some were weighing 2 kg, some were weighing 2.2, some were weighing 1.5. So on average, we're having 1.4, 1.5. So that was what helped me. So the losses was not like too much, because I was able to use that one to regain a little of what I lost. So my point is this: when you are buying your birds, mind you, these chicks that gave me this problem, it's the same hatchery that I've been using, the same hatchery. So I don't know if maybe they have genetic disorder, if maybe it's from the hatchery plant, it's from the egg they use in hatching it. So I don't just know where the problem is, but I knew that it's the same. What I'm telling you now is that it's the same hatchery that I've been using, and it's the same feed. I never changed the feed I was using. So we're using the same feed. I don't joke with feeding when it comes to my birds, because I understand that whatever you put in is what you get. If you feed your birds well, if you feed your fish very well, you will get that growth, amount of growth, you will see the results. Yes, you will see the result. If you feed them very well, you see the results. So I don't play with feeding when it comes to my birds or when it comes to my fish. So it's not like we're managing feeds. We're stocked with feed. I even bought pre-starter 100 bags. I bought finisher 100 bags. I bought starter 50 bags. So I just stocked the farm like that with feed, because the other ones were almost like we're getting close to selling it before this one happened. So my point is this: when you're buying your birds, please check out for these signs. You see their feet, it shouldn't be looking very, very dried. And when you notice, maybe after buying, you notice that they're having this symptom, this sign, I just mentioned, they're looking very dry, looking malnourished. Please don't just waste your money feeding those birds. Give them time. When they come up a little, you just sell them off. We sold those ones. We're selling one of them 1,215. Just imagine 1,215 for a birds that have stayed for 5 weeks. Do you get? So The point I'm making is that sell off immediately. I didn't just leave them from 4 weeks to start selling them, just selling them out. They were not even eating. Okay, when they started eating well, they were still not growing. So at that point, I told them, please just be giving them small food until we sell them out. No need of pumping feed to them when they will not grow. So guys, this is the experience we had in the farm. And I complained, as in I complained bitterly to the guy that I used to buy feed from, the chicks from, and it was like he's not even aware that they were having issues. So I believe that issue were from the hatchery. Probably they just mixed them up with the ones that are okay and more of the other ones, Nobody knows, but that was my guess. Okay, guys. So my point is this: if you have chicks, if you have chickens that are not growing, then you know that these ones, you can see it in them that the growth is stunt. My dear, immediately sell them off. Don't be feeding and be buying everything to make sure. I think to me those are a waste of money. Just if you have people that can buy, sell them off, collect the one that you have, and continue your business. Restock again. Business continue. No giving up. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.